Louis Cardinals, who were rained out today. They were scheduled to play in Chicago. Mets have a record of 5-3, and they are now 1.5 games back of the Cardinals. Jim Leyland, the manager of the Pittsburgh Pirates, and Davey Johnson, the manager of the New York Mets. And now the Mets take the field. Mets and Pirates met opening day in Pittsburgh, with the Mets winning that ball game behind Dwight Gooden, so they have a record of 0-1 against the New York Mets. Last year, the Mets won 10 of the 18 ball games played, but the Pirates played the devil's advocate as they really put the pressure on the Mets in the latter part of the season, and they were the team that really made it difficult for the Mets to get back into first place. Rick Aguilera will be the starting pitcher for the Mets in this ball game, and he'll be opposed by Larry McWilliams. Both have a record of no wins and 1 loss, and Aguilera with an earned run average of 6.00. Defensively for the Mets, Keith Hernandez at first base. At second base, Tim Tuffle. The shortstop is Rafael Santana, and at third base, Ray Knight. In left field, George Foster. The center fielder, Kevin Mitchell. And in right field, Darryl Strawberry. The catcher, Gary Carter. And Aguilera, the pitcher. Rick, 24 years of age, 0-1 with a 6 ERA. He has worked a total of 6 innings, given up 4 hits while striking out 6. Rick Aguilera.
And we'll flash the lineup for you. R.J. Reynolds will be leading off and playing left field. Center fielder Joe Orsulak batting second. Johnny Ray, the switch-hitting second baseman, off to a good start batting third. And Sid Bream at first base batting fourth. Mike Brown, the right fielder, hitting fifth this evening. The fine catcher of the Pirates, Tony Pena, batting sixth. Third baseman Jim Morrison will hit seventh. Sammy Khalifa, the shortstop, batting eighth. And Larry McWilliams on the mound batting ninth.
The umpires for the game tonight: Eric Gregg at home plate, Jerry Davis, the umpire, at first base, Doug Harvey, the umpire, at second base, and Dick Stello, the umpire, at third. Pirates bring a 5-game winning streak into this ball game. Back in 1962, the Mets opened up at the Polo Grounds, their first year in their history of baseball, and lost 9 in a row. Pittsburgh that year won 10 straight ball games. And the leadoff batter will be R.J. Reynolds. Reynolds with a grand slam home run at Wrigley Field the other day, his first in his brief major league career, hitting .351, 2 home runs and 7 runs batted in. R.J. acquired from the Los Angeles Dodgers. Last year in 31 games with Pittsburgh, he batted .308.
If you remember, back in game 1, played on April 8th, a couple of weeks ago. Matter of fact, a couple of weeks ago tomorrow night, the opening day of the season for the Mets, R.J. Reynolds homered on an 0-2 fastball off Dwight Gooden. That was a game in which Dwight gave up only 2 runs and won the ball game 4-2. So that was his other home run. One grand salami and the other one off Gooden, so he's off to a good start.
R.J. Reynolds, last year overall, hitting .282 for the year with 3 home runs, 42 RBIs. And off to a fine start here this year at .351. Rick Aguilera with a lifetime record of 10 wins and 8 losses, and lifetime against Pittsburgh, he's 1-1. And the fastball for ball 1.
R.J. Reynolds, a Roberto Clemente fan as a youngster. And here he is in the outfield with the Pittsburgh Pirates. So really a dream come true.
And the fastball fouled away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Clemente, the Hall of Famer for Pittsburgh, who hit 3,000 hits. His last before his tragic death was a base hit against the New York Mets. John Matlack, as a matter of fact, was a pitcher in that ball game. His last hit of that year. And the breaking ball. Strike call by Eric Gregg. 1-2.
I'll tell you, that was a good call by Eric Gregg. Now, why was it a good call? Because if it fools the hitter, that backdoor breaking ball, usually it fools the umpire too, and Eric Gregg hung right with that pitch.
Back with the breaking ball into left field. Foster off and running. He can't catch it. R.J. on his way to second, and he pulls up there. So R.J. Reynolds with a leadoff double. Pirates hitting at 264 for the season so far this year, doing very well.
Well, we told you about the backdoor breaking ball. Aguilera and Gary Carter try to throw the same pitch. And good hitters look for that pitch again, and that's what Reynolds did, and just shot that ball to left field. Foster had no chance.
So a runner in scoring position with no one out, a conference at the mound as you take a look at Joe Orsulak, who hit his first home run in the major leagues in Chicago. That was in the last series played by the Pittsburgh Pirates.
That was on Saturday. The Pirates and the Cubs locked up in a beauty yesterday, 8-8 in 13 innings. That game will be resumed August the 11th. And I'll tell you what Orsulak told me they should do with that game after this pitch.
And he moves out in bunting position to take for strike one.
He said they ought to do just like in hockey. They ought to give the Cubs a half a point, the Pirates a half a point, and not even play the game. Forget it.
Let it go. He wants that home run, though.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that he got Saturday.
That's right. Of course, all the stats count in yesterday's game. That game to be resumed, as we said, August the 11th.
And the fastball for a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Orsulak went 499 at bats before he had that home run. That's in the major leagues. Had a home run against the Mets in spring training. Overall, hitting .290 for this season. 1 home run, 7 RBIs. And this one has popped up. Tupple having some trouble out there. Strawberry saves him as he calls him off the play and makes the catch. R.J. holding at second base.
And a good play by Darryl Strawberry taking charge. Inexperience in center field and Kevin Mitchell, and Darryl took charge. Much easier play for Darryl.
That'll bring up the hottest batter in the National League, Johnny Ray. Ray leading the league in hitting at 455, 1 home run, 11 runs batted in. He's also #1 in on-base percentage at .514. He's #4 in slugging percentage at .667. What a start he has gotten off to. Last year hit .274 with 7 home runs, 70 RBIs.
And he's only struck out 1 time, and that's not unusual, is it?
Led the National League in being struck out the fewest amount of times. And there's strike 1. Struck out only once every 27 at-bats. Had a total of 24 Ks last year. Switch hitter. Better hitter from the left-hand side and hitting with the runner in scoring position. Just underway, 1 away. Pirates with the runner at second. Foul back. Strike 2. On deck batter, Sid Bream.
One thing that hitters in the National League have not gotten used to, and they talk about this around the batting cage, is how Rick Aguilera comes set. He doesn't bring his hands to his body, but he'll keep his set out away from the body, and that really serves as a quick pitch. We'll watch him here.
2 strikes to count. And the fastball almost gets away.
It's almost a strained position when he has his hands away from his body. Most pitchers will rest their hands against their body, and when hitters see that happen, then they're ready for the pitch. But Aggie keeps those hands about 4 to 6 inches away from the body.
Sort of like John Denny.
And Dick Ruthven does the same thing with the Cubs.
Johnny Ray asking for time from home plate umpire Eric Gregg. Ray has hit in 8 straight ball games and had 15 hits over the 8 games. Foul tip out of the glove, so Ray stays alive.
See, the good hitters get a piece of this pitch. This is an outstanding tailing fastball right on the corner. As Ralph said, Johnny Ray led the National League in the fewest strikeouts per at-bats last year. He is a good ball player. Steady, plays every day, plays hurt, good player.
Rookie year, he played in all of the 162 games. 1-2 pitch. Didn't go, and it's 2-2. Last year, he played in 154 ball games. Very little wind here at Shea Stadium tonight.
Turned out to be a pretty night, didn't it?
Very nice. Outfield has to be very heavy, very wet from the rains. Of course, the infield with that tarp on it. 2-2 pitch, hit right back to the middle, a base hit. R.J. Reynolds coming in, and he'll score. The throw goes into second, and the Pirates lead by a score of 1-0.
Johnny Ray, 9 in a row now. And drives in the first run of the game, and this is a seed back through the middle. Duck. It actually does hit Rick Aguilera on the glove. He deflects it a bit, but it was hit so hard it just shoots by Santana, who had no play, and the Pirates are on top with a quick run.
Boy, he's lucky to get out of the way
man.
of this line drive.
This ball is hit. Get down.
Ooh.
See, he did get that glove up to just deflect it. The ball was a rope.
See your life going right before your eyes right there. So Ray is on with an RBI. Sid Bream is the batter. And Ray draws a throw. Ray, a good base runner, 13 stolen bases last year, and the Pirates not a running ball club last year, even though Chuck Tanner was their manager. They have been running more this year. And it's popped up in foul territory. One strike to count on Sid Bream. Bream hit .230 last year. This year hitting at .182 with 2 home runs and 4 RBIs.
He was the opening day first baseman for the Los Angeles Dodgers last year. Played the first 14 games for the Dodgers. And of course came over with R.J. Reynolds and Cecil Espy in the Bill Madlock trade August 31st.
1 ball, 1 strike. Batted .284 in 26 games for the Pirates. In the minor leagues, he's had a fine home run performance. Has not been able to put it together yet in the major leagues. 2-1.
Sid had reconstructive surgery on his jaw after the last season. And that what do they call it? TMJ syndrome, where the connecting bone up there on the upper part of the jaw. The reason I know that is I've got the same thing. My jaw cracks when I eat a whole bit when I talk, which means it does a lot of cracking. I know. No wise cracks.
No wise cracks on that crack. 2-2 the count. 1984, Bream had 20 home runs at Albuquerque. Good place to hit home runs. He was at Albuquerque in '83 and had 32 home runs. 2-2 pitch. He stays alive as he fouls off the fastball. On deck batter, Mike Brown. Pirates leading 1-0, just underway. 1 man out, top of the first. Double by R.J. Reynolds and a single by Johnny Ray. And this one in the air to left. George Foster puts it away, 2 men away, as Ray goes back to first. That'll bring up Mike Brown. Rick Aguilera trying to get out of the first inning of this ball game with only 1 run. Brown, a tough hitter, batted .304 last year, .332 with the Pirates, and this year hitting at .308 with 1 home run and 6 RBIs. Came to the Pirates from the Angels. Toss to first base. Mike Brown didn't see eye to eye with Gene Mauch, the manager of the Angels. Said he felt like he was walking on eggshells as far as Gene Mauch was concerned. Mauch put him in as a pinch runner, and on the first pitch he had him stealing. He was thrown out, and Mauch got all over him. Fastball foul back out of play.
I guess Mike felt like he wasn't loose. I don't know where you're going to loosen up if you're a pinch runner. You'd be running in the dugout.
Mauch wanted to know why he didn't get a better start. He got out there, and on the first pitch he had him stealing.
Well, he is a well-kept secret. I'll tell you, he batted .332 with the Pirates last year.
And a good breaking ball. 1-2 the count.
Fine outfielder, runs well, throws well, hits for average, hits for power. He's a good player. 5
home runs. 57 ball games for the Pirates. As you look at Tony Pena, the on-deck batter. And the slider is fouled off. Just got a piece of it.
Well, that's 2 sliders in a row to Brown. Now, you saw what R.J. Reynolds did after the 2 straight sliders. If you keep throwing that slider to a right-handed hitter from a right-handed pitcher, what, in effect, he does, he keeps leaning. And in effect, he takes that outside corner and just brings it in to where it's about the middle of the plate. That's why you got to brush him back, throw the fastball inside. We'll see what Gary and Rick do here.
Johnny Ray draws another throw at first base.
That's a constant in and out, in and out. The most effective way to work hitters.
Fastball right on the outside corner, strike 3. So Rick gives up a run on 2 hits, leaves 1 as he ends the inning with a strikeout and the score at the end of 1/2 inning. The Pirates won, the Mets coming up. Now here's a word from Burger King.
Well, Larry McWilliams on the mound for the Pirates, and this is the lineup he'll be facing for the Mets. Kevin Mitchell playing center and leading off. Tim Tuffle, the second baseman, batting second, followed by Keith Hernandez. Gary Carter in the 4 hole, Darryl Strawberry batting 5th, and George Foster in there again after a couple of days off. Ray Knight hitting 7th, and Rafael Santana batting 8th. And Rick Aguilera, a good hitting pitcher, batted .278 last year, batting 9th.
And defensively, it'll be Larry Williams as a pitcher. No wins, 1 loss, an ERA of 4.50. He's worked 6 innings, struck out 3, giving up 5 hits, walking 4. It'll be Bream, Ray, Khalifa, and Morrison first to third. Reynolds, Orsulak, and Brown left to right, and Pena the catcher. And the first pitch is ball 1. McWilliams, a very fast worker. And he's pitching to Kevin Mitchell. And this ball hit for a base hit to right field. So Mitchell singles for the Mets' first base hit. Mitchell hitting .333 before the base hit. And it brings up Tim Tuffle.
Well, Kevin Mitchell's second start, he had 2 hits, scored the winning run in Saturday's game against the Phillies. Drove in the tying run. Now leadoff single tonight. Little eye-opener here. Kevin Mitchell
trying to win a job in that outfield. And he can catch, he can play third, and he can play short. First pitch to Tuffle, a breaking ball for ball 1. Tim hit him .130 so far this year. No home runs, 4 RBIs. He's had 3 hits and 23 times up.
And if you're thinking about a stolen base, forget it. In my opinion, this is the toughest tandem in the National League to run against, McWilliams and Pena.
And the fastball for a ball, 1 ball, 1 strike. Pena ready to throw. He has got a great arm. He had 100 assists last year.
And coupled with the fact that McWilliams gets the ball to home plate, only 4 base runners out of 10 tries stole bases against McWilliams and Pena. That combo last year. McWilliams gets the ball to the plate in a hurry, and Pena's got a great arm. That's a pretty good formula for throwing guys out.
And the 1-1 pitch, again the breaking ball, this time not in the strike zone, and the count 2 balls and 1 strike. Tuffle hit .260 last year in the American League for the Twins with 10 home runs and 50 RBIs. And the fastball fouled away. 2-2 the count. McWilliams with a lifetime record of 65-57. Lifetime against the Mets, he's 9-7. Had an off year last year.
Tim Tuffle, a lot of playing time. This is the 6th left-hander in 7 games the Mets have faced.
Line to right field, a base hit. Mitchell on his way to third. Brown throws it into the shortstop, and the Mets have runners at third. Kevin Mitchell there, and at first, Tim Tuffle there.
So Tim Tuffle with the rope to right, and Davy Johnson's type of player is Kevin Mitchell. Belly flopped into third. Get his uniform dirty in a hurry. Gotta like that. Lynn Dykstra sliding all over his stomach all over the place. I like that.
Oh, Gary Carter the other day with a belly slide home.
Yeah.
Aggressive baseball by the New York Mets, and it brings up Keith Hernandez. Keith brings a 5-game hitting streak into this game, hitting .412 over that streak. Overall, hitting .333 for the year with no home runs and 3 RBIs. And the first pitch is a strike call. Pirates leading 1-0, but the Mets with a time run at third. And behind Kevin Mitchell at third base, Teufel at first.
Going to try to come inside with a fastball again. That ball sailed outside. Excuse me, Ralph. But you remember in spring training, there are a lot of pitchers who like to pitch Hernandez inside. And if you're going to pitch him inside, sometimes it's not good to start off in there because a guy like Hernandez will adjust to that.
He'll adjust anyway. He's that kind of a hitter. 1-1 the count. The curveball hit right at Khalifa, and he has no play. Mitchell holds at third base, and Teufel at first.
Well, it's a good play by Tim Teufel, but you cannot be doubled off on a line drive the other way if you're the runner at first base. The reason behind that is if the ball goes to left field, you're only going to go to second anyway, so you got to make sure the ball bounces in the outfield. Good play by Teufel.
These things you should know before the pitch is made. First base coach usually reminds you of that. That brings up Gary Carter. Carter brings a 7-game hitting streak into this game, batting .367 over the 7 games. And overall, Carter hitting at .333 with 1 home run and 9 runs batted in. And the breaking ball for ball 1.
If you're a runner at first base, it's more understandable if you're doubled off on a line drive to the right side of the infield, the second baseman or first baseman, because then you're taking a chance if the ball's in the outfield, you can go to third base, but not to the left side.
And the fastball. 2 balls, no strikes. Larry McWilliams on the mound for the Pirates. Last year he won 7 and lost 9 and was 2-3 against the Mets last season. McWilliams learned that quick pitching style from Johnny Sain, pitching coach for the Richmond Ball Club at the time. Sain, of course, a great major league pitcher. And the pitch back is low, and it's 3-0. Darryl Strawberry, the on-deck batter.
I don't have to ask you if you're hitting here.
You better believe he is.
Leave your feet, right?
Strawberry on deck, 3-0 count to Gary Carter, and he gets a pitch inside for ball 4, and that loads him up. Bases are loaded. Lee Leland, the manager of the Pittsburgh Pirates, also down there. Bill Burden, a former Pirate star and manager. Strawberry hitting .241, no home runs, 4 RBIs. Darryl, in the first inning of a ball game against Pittsburgh, hit a grand slam home run. It looked like the Mets would win that ball game easily. They were leading 4-0. Game won 18 innings.
That was last year when Rusty Staub went from left to right, back to left, back to right. Made his only put out of the season in right field on a fine running catch.
They're trying to keep him from being in the action, and he had to make one of the great plays of his career.
Rick Rhoden hit that ball.
A little blooper down in right field. Now time is called.
Darryl had a couple of grand slams last year. One of them, the grand salami that Ralph just referred to.
And the fastball for ball 1. Among active players, Dave Kingman with the most grand slam home runs, 15. Second to him is Eddie Murray, who got his 13th this past weekend, and then George Foster with 12. And a strike call. It's 1 ball, 1 strike, and Strawberry did not like the call. Lou Gehrig, the all-time leader in grand slam home runs, with 23.
Darryl thought that ball was high, but he is 6'6". Got to remember that.
Sweeping curveball. 1-2. That's the old roundhouse curve.
and much more effective from a lefty to a lefty than a righty to a righty. See that front side bailing out of there? It's one key you got to remember when you're facing a left-handed pitcher. If you're a left-handed hitter, keep that front side closed.
1-2. And Strawberry, fooled by the breaking ball, just does get a piece of it and stays alive. Count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes.
See, that's why you say protect the outside part of the plate with 2 strikes. See that front side leaving right there, but Darrell did get a piece of it. That means you're vulnerable inside, but you can't protect both sides of the plate.
McWilliams, very tough to hit if you're a left-hand batter. He has that herky jerk motion, and he also has that sweeping curveball. And the fastball, but Darrell fouls it back out of play. On deck batter is George Foster. When you have the great reflexes that a Strawberry has, you can look curveball and still get the bat on the fastball.
That's right. Especially with 2 strikes.
And the fastball again. This time it's a ball, and it's 2-2. And those last 2 fastballs really setting up a curveball here.
Yep, I agree with you. Fastball fouled away and the heater inside.
It'll be an off-speed curveball in all likelihood. It's a guessing game, but you can anticipate the right way. Went sidearm and got the curve and got him. So he set Darrell up perfectly and made the good pitch, and that's a big out.
Yeah, it really was, and a good piece of pitching. That is a nasty job of pitching by Larry McWilliams. That sweeper, and you see the front side. When that right leg flies open, you're really dead on that curveball. I'll tell you, that pitch right there after the 2 fastballs inside would have gotten a lot of left-handed hitters out.
Certainly would have. Very good pitch. Fine pitching by McWilliams, and now it'll be George Foster. George rested for a couple of games after getting a big RBI single. Now he gets a fastball for ball 1. Foster hitting .273 with no home runs and 3 RBIs. Last year he batted .263 with 21 home runs and 77 RBIs. Ground ball to the third baseman. Jim Morrison goes to second for the force play, and the Mets do not score after having runners at first and third and no one out. They leave 2, and the score at the end of 1. Pittsburgh 1, the Mets nothing. Now here's a word from Newsday. Top of the second, the Pirates leading 1-0, and we'd like to remind you this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the New York Mets and WRTV, and is intended solely for the private non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the New York Mets and WRTV is prohibited. For the Pirates, it'll be Tony Pena, the leadoff. Pirates picking up a run in the top of the first inning on a double by R.J. Reynolds and a single by Johnny Ray. The Mets left the bases loaded after getting runners at first and third and no one out. So Tony Pena, the batter. Pena hitting .219 so far this year with no home runs and 2 RBIs. Last year, a .249 hitter with 10 home runs and 59 RBIs. Rick Aguilera on the mound for the Mets. And he misses with a fastball. Pena, a man who does not let many go by. And the slider is swung on and missed.
He does not take a walk on the wild side, huh? He never gets cheated. Whack.
Oh, that back of his takes a beating with that bat. He hits his back with that bat every time.
Yeah, he pulled a rib cage muscle in spring training. Missed about a week swinging like that. That just has to do with style, though. He never gets cheated. Kind of like Willie McCovey from the right side.
And it's grounded foul. Jim Gentile used to wear a pad on his back when he was swinging like that.
Gentleman Jim Gentile. I think Gentleman Jim holds the record for Grand Slam home runs in a season, does he not, with 5?
He has hit 5 in a season. Also, Ernie Banks hit 5 in a season.
I think Gentleman Jim did it back in '61. And Banks did it in '56, I believe. But they are the National League and the American League and National League Grand Slam hitters that hold the record for Grand Slams in a season.
And the breaking ball, you got a piece of it to stay alive. Pena, a fine defensive catcher. Batted .286 in 1984. His mother is his teacher as far as baseball concerned. She was a fine softball player. And he got it. Good breaking ball.
Oh, that was a nasty pitch right there. That slider a little bit off the plate to a free swinger. A good pitch by Rick Aguilera. See, just off the plate, you got a free swinger up there. Pena goes down.
So 1 away here in the top of the second. The Pirates leading 1-0, and it brings up Jim Morrison. Morrison hitting at .192 with 1 home run and 3 RBIs. And again, the breaking ball for a strike. Morrison hit .254 last year with 4 home runs and 22 RBIs. He's only played in 100 games 1 time in his major league career. Last year he played in '92. His best year ever with the White Sox. Good fastball, but not a strike call.
Jim broke in with the Philadelphia Philly organization and can flat handle the high fastball.
2 balls, 1 strike. .1980 with the White Sox. He played in 162 games and had 15 home runs while hitting .283. This ball hit deep to left field. It's way back. It's going. It is gone. Goodbye. Jim Morrison with a home run, and the Pirates lead 2-0.
And Jim Morrison showing that he can handle the slider, too. A slider that is a hanger does not necessarily have to be up in the strike zone. This one was, but you can throw good high breaking balls just as well as you can throw good low breaking balls. But hanger, as we've defined it before, see the action just stop in the strike zone? Ball just stopped. It stopped cutting. And it just kind of flattens out and lays there, and Morrison took care of it.
And now the batter will be Sam Khalifa. Khalifa hitting .083. He's been up 12 times with 1 base hit. And that's ball 2. So time is called as Carter goes out to settle his pitcher down.
That's the 3rd home run in 7 1/3 innings that Rick Aguilera has given up. 1 to Gary Reedus with the Phillies, and a 2-run shot by Darren Dalton. And there's the 3rd home run hit by a happy Jim Morrison.
Morrison winning the job at third base in spring training.
There are different ways to talk to yourself, too. If you strike out, sometimes you come back and talk to yourself. You hit a home run, you talk to yourself.
And the fastball fouled away. A little different language, though.
Indeed it is. Saw Jim talking to Steve Kemp right to his left there.
2-1 to Khalifa, who batted .238 last year with 2 home runs in 95 ball games. Fastball, a strike call. 2-2.
That song from South Pacific, Happy Talk. After a home run, that's what you come back and do. Happy Talk.
Want to tell everybody how you did it.
Yeah.
2-2 pitch. Good breaking ball. So Aguilera comes back after the home run to pick up his 3rd strikeout.
This is a similar pitch that he got Tony Pena with. Slider just off the plate. A good 2-strike pitch. See, that's why you got to stay ahead. When you stay ahead, you put that hitter on the defense, and you can make pitches like that and maybe get him to nibble.
That brings up Larry McWilliams. Larry has been up 1 time this year without a base hit.
Notice Jim Morrison's home run came on a 2-1 slider. That hitter's in a much more offensive situation. You don't see too many home runs hit with 2 strikes on a hitter because the good hitters are in more defensive positions. Not saying it's never done, but you don't see nearly as many as when the pitcher's behind in the count.
A lot easier to guess when you have that count in your favor. First pitch to McWilliams, a strike call. Larry will do anything when he's hitting. He'll bunt. He's a pretty aggressive ball player. And he lines one right at Knight at third, and that'll do it. 1 run and the home run by Morrison. No one left, and the score at the end of 1.5. Pittsburgh 2, the Mets nothing. Now here's a word from Lincoln Mercury. And right here at home on Channel 9 for the play-by-play, Tim McCarver.
All right, Ralph, Ray Knight leads it off here in the bottom of the second. And what a start for Ray Knight. Big numbers in 5 straight games. Came to spring training this year. He had shed some weight and ready to play, and he has played well in 5 straight games. And a fastball is inside. 1-0 to Ray Knight with the Bucks up 2-0. Mets saying the Bucks stop here, right?
I hope so.
Right now.
Bucks have got 5 straight victories. Mets have 3 in a row.
1-1 tonight. And a changeup and a beauty. 1-2. Mets with a golden opportunity to score in the first. They loaded the bases with 1 out, but Darryl Strawberry struck out, and George Foster grounded to third. Grounded, good play by McReynolds. That's how a pitcher can really help himself. 1 out.
Well, we look at it again. McWilliams coming up with his ball really didn't have much time to do anything, but he got the glove down there to take a base hit away from Ray.
Had he not had that glove down there, he might have been credited with a skate save. See him kind of kick that leg down there.
Would have stung a little.
Santana off to a slow start, takes a strike. Rafi only 3 for 30 in the early going. Little breezer, 1-1. Looks like he tries to turn that changeup over.
Gives you all that motion and then throws a little dead fish up there.
Santana fouls it back. 2-2 to Rafael Santana. Rafi, one of 7 major league shortstops from San Pedro de Macorís. Rips one foul. Actually, Santana lives in La Romana, which is about 20 miles from San Pedro de Macorís, a veritable haven for major league shortstops and players. Pedro Guerrero, Joaquin Andujar.
10% of the players in the major leagues come out of the Dominican Republic.
Swing and a miss. Got him with the fastball. Second strikeout for McReynolds. And with 2 out, the batter Rick Aguilera.
Well, they set him up for the fastball with the off-speed stuff. And he gets into his kitchen there, and Rafael unable to get the bat out in front.
McWilliams in an injury-plagued at 1985, 7-9 and only 19 starts. Aguilera with 10 hits last year takes a strike. Good breaking ball, 0-2.
Rick, a pinch hitter in the ball game earlier this year, came up with a walk.
And he got him with the breaking ball. The ball comes back up to Pena, and an easy inning for Larry McWilliams. 5 in a row retired by Larry. After 2, the Mets trail 2-0. We go to the third after this word from Manufacturers Hanover. And the Philadelphia Phillies last Sunday for the game tonight, and hopeful that the Mets would get this one in tonight because his pitchers need to work. R.J. Reynolds worked a double to left field his first time up. Off to a strong start. And he fouls it back. R.J. double, scored a run in the first inning. Scored on Johnny Ray's RBI single up the middle, and then Jim Morrison hit a solo home run in the second, and that's where we are, 2-0. Breaking ball and a good one. Tuffle smothers it and throws him out. One away. That was a good biting breaking ball right there.
Tuffle has a little trouble, but he gets in front of it, works it out. On that second base side, you can block it and pick it up and still get the runner.
So Joe Orsulak is the center fielder. Joe popped to shallow right field his first time up. And the fastball misses.
Joe led all the National League rookies in hitting last year, hitting just a shade under 300. Mark Salas in the American League hit 300, so Joe didn't lead the major leagues.
Tried to hold up but couldn't. 1-1 to Joe. His nickname is Slack, and you're saying that's what he did for the Pirates last year. Picked it up, did
a good job.
Local product from Parsippany, New Jersey. Another changeup is low. 2-1. Breaking ball off the heel. That hurts. 2-2 to Joe Orsulak.
Now, this doesn't make you feel any better. Fortunately, it didn't get him on the top part of the foot. It got him on the back part of the heel, and that does help a little bit. Got a little more padding on that shoe.
And he fouls it away. Ralph mentioned earlier that Orsulak hit his first major league home run after 499 at bats, and before the game tonight we were talking about Marvell Wynn, who truly was a marvel earlier in the season. 2 years ago, in 653 at bats, he did not have a home run. Got him with the fastball, a tailing fastball for Aguilera's 4th strikeout.
In the National League, the Cards and Cubs were snowed out. Braves leading the Astros 3-0, top of the 3rd, and of course the Dodgers and Giants on the coast will be later.
Johnny Ray, the batter, singled in a run in the 1st. And to complete that story, Marvell Wynn with 653 at bats had no homers in 1984, and this year, in his 2nd game as a Padre, he had 2 home runs in 1 game. Amazing. That's appropriate and pertinent because Orsulak is replacing Wynn in center field.
How about the story of Dwayne Kuiper? He hit 1 home run in his major league career off of Steve Stone. Had over 2,000 at bats with only 1 home run.
Yeah. 0-1 to Johnny Ray. 2-0. Bucks on top here in the top of the 3rd. Lined off the glove of Tuffle. It's going to be a base hit. 2nd in a row for Johnny Ray.
Well, Johnny Ray goes right down to get this breaking ball. Does an excellent job of hitting. Tuffle unable to glove it. Keeps it in the infield, and Ray's on first base with 2 men out. Tough chance as it hits him on the heel of the glove.
So a ray of hope here for the Pirates in the top of the 3rd with 2 out. And the batter, Sid Bream. He flied to left his first time up. Strike 1. Changeup is outside. 1-1 to Sid Bream from Carlisle, Pennsylvania. Ralph Kiner knows that town well.
Jim Thorpe.
James Thorpe.
Probably the greatest athlete we've ever had in the history of the United States, especially in track. He did play in the major leagues, briefly and ineffectively.
Talk about a guy who could do it all. Now, Jim Thorpe could do it all. 2-1 to Sid Bream.
They took his medals away because he played semi-pro ball. Got a buck or something like that to play, and they said he was a professional. He played under another name, but someone dug it out.
I think it would have been more than fair if he played semi-pro ball to take half of his medals away.
It's only semi.
3 and 1 to Bream.
They did restore the medals after he had died to his family.
There goes Ray, and this one's fouled off the shin guard of Gary Carter. So Ray was going on the 3-1 pitch. He most definitely will go on the 3-2 pitch.
Fastball that sunk, and he got the top part of the ball. So we'll see Ray running.
I set off Gary's shin guard. It was actually off the shin guard of Eric Gregg, the home plate umpire. 3-2, 2 out. 2-0 Pittsburgh. Hernandez behind Ray. Line, base hit to right field. Strawberry will have to hurry. Here comes Ray. Out and home. What a play by Gary Carter. The tail of the tape shows a considerable weight advantage. Gary Carter on a strong throw by Darryl Strawberry.
Oh, we look at it again with the runner going on the 3-2 pitch. The slider drilled down the line. It's fair by inches. Strawberry has to hurry. Ray is rounding third base. He makes a perfect throw here. Carter has a chance to block the plate on the throw. He does, and he makes the tag, and Ray is out.
No runs, 2 hits, and 1 left here in the third. It's 2-0 Pittsburgh after 2.5. Now here's a word from Off-Track Betting. Fans join the Mets Saturday afternoon, May 10th, as Pete Rose and the Cincinnati Reds will be in town. All kids 14 and under will receive a pair of Mets wristbands, courtesy of Starter. On Sunday afternoon, May 11th, Mother's Day, treat Mom to a day off and bring her out to the ballpark to see the Mets take on the Cincinnati Reds. And for coming out to the game, all women 16 and older will receive a canvas tote bag, courtesy of Sidari, importers of real Italian pasta. There are seats still available, so stop by any Ticketron outlet or call 718-507-TIXX for more information. This promises to be a great weekend of baseball out at Shea, so come on out and cheer on the Mets to victory. Game time for both games, 1:35. So Kevin Mitchell leads it off here in the bottom of the third inning. Kevin singled his first time up, and he pops this one up and playable. Sid Bream in foul territory, 1 out. Ralph, we were talking between innings, and both Steve Zabriskie and I concurred in thinking, at least, that Johnny Ray missed third base as he was rounding third base. So the Mets may have appealed that play had Carter not made that good play at home and Darryl Strawberry not made that strong throw.
It's all academic now with that fine play at home.
Tim Tuffle singled to right his first time up. 2-0 Pittsburgh. And it's 1-0. Mets with a golden opportunity to score with the bases loaded and 1 out in the first, but they failed. 2-0.
Runners at first and third and no one out, and the Mets couldn't get the runners in. They also got another man out when Carter walked, but then Strawberry struck out and Foster grounded out.
And Tuffle rips this one foul, 2-1. Pirates scored their run on a double by Reynolds in the first. RBI single by Johnny Ray, and then a solo home run by Jim Morrison. 2-0 Pittsburgh. Fouled away.
Oh, we got a minute here. We should pass on happy birthday wishes to Jesse Orozco, who's 29 years old today.
Nice prelude to Jesse's birthday. In 4 games, he is yet to be scored upon. 7 innings of work. And took a little off the fastball. I'll tell you, Larry McWilliams is the epitome of a crafty left-hander. And Tuffle pops it up again to Bream in foul territory. With 2 out, the batter Keith Hernandez. I have seen a major league fielder tie the record many times with 3 putouts, but I don't think I've ever seen a first baseman catch 3 in foul territory.
Sure, it's been done, but you don't see it very often. I'd be very surprised if Keith pops up to the first base side, though.
This one inside, and it looked like it hit Hernandez and did. So Keith Hernandez goes down to first. No intent to hit him or knock him down. He's just trying to pitch him inside.
I think it gets Keith on the hand as he spins away. Just did nick him. And he shakes that right hand, which would indicate he did get hit. And the expression on McWilliams' face certainly would say that the pitch got away.
Yep. It's a problem. You try to pitch guys inside, and those balls get away from you. Keith at first with 2 out. Gary Carter. He walked his first time up, and he takes a strike. Gary has hit safely in 7 straight. He hit safely in 10 straight in late August last year for the Mets. Swings and misses, 0-2. Had a 13-game hitting streak back in 1979 for Montreal. That's his career high.
It was Larry McWilliams and Gene Garber who stopped Pete Rose after 44 consecutive games.
Larry McWilliams with that super play back in 78 on the liner and Pete Rose's first at bat. And then, of course, Gene Garber with the Atlanta Braves, a 12-run lead. He threw him a 3-2 changeup
Struck
to
him
make
out.
the last out of the game.
Uncharacteristically, Pete Rose complained about
He sure did. He surely did. It was uncharacteristic of Pete, too. 0-2 to Gary Carter. Mets trail by 2, bottom of 3. And this one bounces in front of Pena. Fine play.
Right here, Pena is a cat. He gets out in front on this thing, blocks it out in front. He's looking at Hernandez all the way. Keith's not going to go for second in that spot.
That's what a catcher tries to do. It tries to deaden that ball and use all parts of your bodies to try to cushion that ball. Grounded. Foul ball. And third base umpire Dick Stello called it, but I'll tell you, baby, it was just foul.
Well, it's whether or not it crosses the bag. Let's look at it from this angle. If it's over the bag, it's a fair ball, and he evidently said it was not over the bag. It's not where it hits. And Dick Stello stoically says, I called it right.
And he did. That's why if you're at a game, sometimes you see those umpires kicking those bags toward the fair part. A lot of times when those bags are in, they'll kind of drift over to the foul side. And on a play like that, what would normally be a fair ball or a foul ball would be called fair if it's kicked over outside the line. 2-2 to Carter. Ball well hit left center. Orsulak over. Home run, Gary Carter. 2-2 ball game.
Gets a breaking pitch. It's up a little bit. Gary gets on it and lines it into left center field. Orsulak over, can't get to it. It clears the wall by a good enough margin. Second home run for Carter this year. And the Mets have tied the game at 2. Carter last year had 32 home runs.
Darryl Strawberry, the batter. It's a 2-2 ball game. And that's 8 in a row that Carter has hit in. RBIs number 10 and 11 for Gary on the season. He leads the Mets in RBIs. Swinging a foul tip, 1-1.
That is only the Mets' 5th home run of the season. The Pirates, not a home run hitting type club, have already had 10, but of course they came here from Wrigley Field.
Mets don't go to Wrigley till the middle of June, and a curveball is a beauty. 1-2.
Strawberry knows Wrigley Field well. He had 3 home runs in 1 game there.
Ground ball to second. Johnny Ray up with it. And the Mets are fortunate that Gary Carter's ground ball was not fair, because he came back on the next pitch, popped one out of here. 2 runs on 1 hit, nobody left. After 3, it's 2-2. Now here's a word from Busch Beer.
Well, in the American League, the Yankees later against the Royals. The Tigers defeated the Red Sox 5-4. Terrell, the winner, now 2-1. Hernandez got his 4th save. Nipper, the losing pitcher in that ball game. Rangers 3, the Blue Jays nothing, bottom of the 4th. The Indians 3, the Orioles nothing, top of the 3rd, and the A's and Angels later, as well as the Twins and Mariners. Right here, it's 2-2, and coming in for the play-by-play, Steve Zabriskie.
Thanks a lot, Ralph. Mike Brown leads it off here in the top of the 4th. Brown looked at a called 3rd strike to win the 1st inning. He did not play in the Mets opening day game at Pittsburgh, and he fouls this one off, and the count 1-1. He is a good-looking young player, finally getting a shot to play almost every day. He's not real happy about being platooned as he was the first part of the season, but he's in there against the right-hander Aguilera tonight. And he fouls it off. 1-2.
He makes his home in Orange County, Southern California, right off the freeway, the Santa Ana Freeway. And he says when he sees those thousands of people on the freeway at 7 a.m., I'm just thank the Lord, he says, for being able to play ball.
Not have to fight that rat race. Grounded to 3rd. Knight gets a nice high hop and guns him down, 1 away.
Well, here's the replay as it's hit down to Ray Knight. Plays the hop on the good second hop, takes his time, gets his man at first base. Ray coming back from a sore arm and throwing very well this year.
Yes, he has. Tony Pena struck out swinging in the 2nd inning. Tony is 0 for 5 against the Mets this year.
That's a pitch that he struck out on right there.
Good slider, and as usual, Pena did not get cheated. He takes a full cut, and that may be an understatement.
He broke 10 bats in a 3-game series, one series a couple years ago. Breaks more bats than anybody. Here's the good pitch. Breaking ball down. He had a pretty good cut at it.
He has to struggle to maintain his balance. 1 strike to count. And a shot that Hernandez picks clean off the top of the dirt. 2 away.
This one hit right off the end of the bat, a semi-line drive. Keith had it either way, and the short hop the fly. He takes it on the fly, so he didn't have to go to first base.
Here's Jim Morrison, who homered in the 2nd inning for the Pirates' 2nd run. Morrison's 2nd home run of the year. And he misses that good sinker. That looked like that split finger fastball. And it's 0-1. Two out and nobody on. Right back up the middle off Aguilera's leg, and it conveniently caroms to first. So we'll score that one 1-3. Aguilera gets what might be a painful assist, and it's a 1-2-3 inning. 2-2 in the middle of the 4th, and we're back after this for Nissan. As we go to the bottom of the 3rd, let's take a look at the play that ended the top half of the 3rd inning.
Now Rick Aguilera doing a job getting a skate save as that ball was hit hard back through the middle. Earlier he almost got decapitated by a line drive through the middle by Johnny Ray. This time he uses his foot instead of his head. Right over to Hernandez for the Final out of the inning.
George Foster leads off the bottom of the fourth for the Mets and takes low from McWilliams for ball one. George grounded into an inning-ending force play in the first. The Mets had the bases loaded but failed to score. Carter's two-run home run in the third has tied it. And a line shot over Sid Bream for a base hit to right.
Well, Foster will trade a base hit for a broken bat anytime. Right off the end of the bat, just does get it over the head of Bream at first base. And George is on with no one out. Tie ball game at 2. Mets tying the game on a home run by Gary Carter. Carter's 249th career home run.
Here's Ray Knight, who was retired on a fine play by McWilliams back in the second inning on a ball hit sharply back to the pitcher. And he pops one on a play for strike one.
The all-time leader for home runs by a catcher, Steve, is Johnny Bench, who hit 325 home runs as a catcher. And he hit his last home run the way they do it in the movies. They had a Johnny Bench day, and he caught. He hadn't been catching. He'd been playing third. And he hit a home run that last day on his day.
That was in 1984. What a way to go out. Huh? Did you see Foster's bat split down the length of it? That bat split in half.
And that's a big bat. You burn logs in your fireplace bigger than that, but not much bigger.
That's major kindling right now. Well hit to right field, but it will stay in the park. Brown on the warning track makes the play. Foster back to first, one out.
Tomorrow night at 7:30, the Mets will take on the Pittsburgh Pirates here at Shea. And immediately following, a special edition of News 9 Prime Time with the latest in news, weather, and sports.
Rafael Santana struck out in the second inning. One of 3 recorded by Larry McWilliams so far. And Raffy has been struggling. He is 1 for his last 21. And he takes a strike on the breaking ball. Santana in yesterday's ball game got a base hit to break an 0 for 19 streak. 1-1.
He's in pretty good company there because Bob Horner went 0 for 21 before he got a base hit. His first hit of the year turned out to be a home run, but he got off to a very slow start.
I don't know why, but Foster was chased back. Foster will not be running, nor was he very far off the bag. Did you ever get off to a bad start?
Never that bad.
Santana fooled by the breaking ball. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Rafael has had not only problem getting base hits, but he has not been swinging the bat well at all. He's had very tentative offerings at many pitches.
Ball players have a philosophy that sooner or later they will all even out.
Did he hold up? The appeal. What did he say?
He said he did swing at it, so that's it.
Jerry Davis made a very quick and almost unseen motion on the appeal play.
Tony tagging the runner, but you don't have to tag the runner when there are less than 2 out and the runner on first base.
First base umpire Jerry Davis did make a call. So Santana struck out for the second time. 2 out now with Foster at first for Rick Aguilera. Aggie also struck out his first time up. A little bit inside, ball 1. 2 runs on 5 hits for the Mets, 2 runs on 4 hits for the Pirates. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning. The breaking ball missed outside, so it's 2-0.
Good spot for Aguilera here. He can look fastball.
Got it, but missed it. 2-1. When
you're a pitcher and the count goes to 2 balls and no strikes, the odds are mighty good that you're going to get a fastball, because they certainly don't want to walk you.
Grounded up the middle. Khalifa will step on the bag and end the inning. A hit and 1 left here in the 4th inning for the Mets. And as we go to the 5th, it's still tied 2-2. We'll return to Shea after this word from Ivory. Well, on the Diamond Vision message board, they just wished a happy birthday to Jesse, and they're playing Jesse's Girl. And there is a happy birthday sign for Jess as well. Jesse's Girl, Tish. Probably watching the game at home tonight. Sammy Khalifa will lead it off. Larry McWilliams and R.J. Reynolds to follow. A 2-2 tie, top of the 5th inning. Khalifa struck out his first time up. A fastball right on the outside corner, and it's 0-1. Khalifa, an interesting story. His father, a Egyptian scholar, and he has lived all over the world, really. Learned to play baseball in Arizona and California. 1-1.
His father, a scholar in the Muslim religion.
On the corner again, 1-2. Yes, I think his dad is the one that taught the Muslim religion to the former
Bobby Moore.
Bobby Green, I think.
Bobby Moore.
Bobby Moore.
Who is Ahmad Rashad.
Oh, Carter and Aguilera both thought they had it again. But that one missed the corner, according to home plate umpire Eric Gregg. So it's 2-2.
Oh, that was close.
He's out now.
Yeah.
Khalifa strikes out for the 2nd time. He foul tipped the ball, but Carter held on. So there's 1 out here in the 5th. And the batter will be pitcher Larry McWilliams. McWilliams with a line shot to Ray Knight at 3rd base his first time up. He's not a bad hitter.
Pitcher
0 for 2 this season so far, however.
Well, he's got 5 strikeouts. He had 6 in his last time out in 6 innings, so he's got 12 strikeouts for the year. 4.1 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs. One of them a home run by Jim Morrison.
McWilliams taking his time getting into the box. And takes a ball. You and Tim were talking about McWilliams and Gene Garber combining to stop Pete Rose's hitting streak. Swing and a miss, 1-1. I think Pete's still mad about that 3-2 changeup from Garber.
44 consecutive games with at least 1 base hit. Of course, the record is 56 in the major leagues, set by Joe DiMaggio in 1941.
Breaking ball, and it's 1 ball, 2 strikes.
One of those records that people say can't be broken. 56 consecutive ball games.
Well, they've said that about a lot of records that have been broken, so
most of them Babe Ruth.
wait and see. Breaking ball.
Gee.
Boy, awful close. Again, Carter and Aguilera thought they had McWilliams.
Pitcher doesn't usually get a call of ball here. A good hitter, yes, but a pitcher, seldom.
Rick Aguilera's body language told you how he felt. So now it's 2-2. Grounded, Tuffle over, 2 away. So that'll bring up R.J. Reynolds, who will take his time in order to give McWilliams time to get back to the dugout. And we want to remind you that tomorrow night, the Pirates and the Mets will go at it again here at Shea. And again, we'll be on the air at 7:30 tomorrow night, a game not on your original schedule. And there are plenty of seats still available for tomorrow's game if you want to come on out. The weather is supposed to be a lot better than it is tonight. You can call 507-TIXX for all ticket information. Reynolds has doubled and scored and grounded to second. He has also hit in 6 of the 8 games now that the Pirates have played this year. And he takes low for ball 1.
Reynolds, a basketball player in college.
Ball 2.
Gave up playing baseball, and after 3 years of playing basketball, he came back to baseball. And he's a natural right-hand batter. He started switch hitting back in 1982.
Missed the fastball. It's 2 balls, 1 strike. Well, he's off to a fine start this year. Entered the game hitting .351. 2 homers and 7 RBIs.
He was in the Bill Madlock trade.
Well hit to left center. Mitchell will not catch up with it as it slices away from him. Reynolds going to second, and he'll be there with a stand-up double with 2 out here in the 5th inning. His second double of the night.
Well, he hits this ball very well. No chance for Mitchell.
Joe Orsulak.
And it's played off the wall by Kevin. And Reynolds at second base with 2 men out, and Joe Orsulak, the batter.
Reynolds is now 4 for 7 against the Mets this season. Orsulak tonight is 0 for 2. He has flied out in short right center field to Strawberry, and he struck out looking in the 3rd. Orsulak's a guy, though, that has hit the Mets very well in his young career. A career .316 hitter against New York at the start of play tonight.
Pirates with 6 hits, and 4 of them have been extra base hits, 3 doubles and a home run.
And in addition to that, Ralph, there have been some hard hit outs. Ball 1. Reynolds at second with 2 out. 2-2 tie, top of the 5th inning. 1-1 now.
And the replay. Good pitch by Aguilera, who needs to get a big ad right here. Tie ball game at 2. Go ahead run at second base. 5th inning.
And another pitch that just did miss. 2 balls, 1 strike. And that's a good pitch, I think, Ralph, to a left-handed hitter right there.
It was a good off-speed pitch, that split-finger fastball.
And to keep it away is important.
Orsulak definitely not a home run hitter. He's had only 1 in his major league career, so the outfield a little deep against him.
And he pops it up, and it's playable. Ray Knight in foul territory. And the inning is over. So a hit and 1 left for the Pirates here in the top of the 5th. After 4 1/2, we're still tied at 2. Now here's a word from Garcia Vega. Go to the bottom of the 5th in a 2-2 tie. Coming back in to call it for you, a guy whose only trouble was that he created for National League pitchers during his major league career. Ralph Kiner.
Well, thank you, Steve Zabriskie, and it'll be Kevin Mitchell, the leadoff for the Mets, and he takes the first pitch for strike 1. Kevin with a single his first time up, also has fouled out. Larry McWilliams on the mound, back with a fastball, and the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Mitchell, a tie butter last year, hitting .290 with 9 home runs. And he gets under this one, pops it up down the left field side. Long run for R.J. Reynolds. It'll drop foul.
Reynolds was playing, understandably, deep against Mitchell. It wasn't so much that he was way over toward center field. He was just back near the track. So he did have a long way to come.
1-2, the count to Kevin Mitchell. Pirates have 2 runs on 6 hits. The Mets have 2 runs on 4. And the big hit for the Mets, a 2-run home run by Gary Carter in the 3rd inning. His 2nd home run of the year to tie the ball game at 2. Pirates had a run in the 1st inning and added 1 more in the 2nd. Williams has struck out 3 and walked 1 in this game. Just does miss with the breaking ball.
You know, Ralph, the way Kevin Mitchell is playing, if he can keep it up, it'll really give Davy Johnson a great deal of versatility in the top of that lineup.
Pop up into shallow center. Orsulak a deep center field, but plenty of time to get to it. And Mitchell is out. Of course, all the clubs in baseball are playing with a 24-man roster. They could have 25, but it's an agreement that they said they'd go with 24.
Second baseman, Tim Tuffle.
Gives the managers much more trouble than it does anybody else.
We've already seen that with those extra inning games, not only with the Mets, but other clubs.
And Tim Tuffle tries to bunt his way on. Strike 1. Tuffle singled to right in the 1st. Fouled out in the 3rd.
But you know, the 24-man roster could be run. One reason why Kevin Mitchell made the ball club.
Ground ball foul. Strike 2.
The versatility that he showed during spring training. Obviously a big plus when you have 1 less guy on the bench.
He can catch. He can play 3rd. He can play 1st. He can play the outfield. And has played some shortstop. Chopped out to the shortstop side. Khalifa loses his hat but gets the out. Well, that 24-man roster thing has been debated around about whether they should do it or not do it as we look at the replay.
Pounded right down in front of the plate, and Khalifa charging the ball to get a good hop. Double clutched a little bit and almost waited too long. As you see, he just did get Tuffle by a half step.
And the out brings up Keith Hernandez. When I played for the Pittsburgh Pirates in 1952, the Pirates lost 112 games. We played with 22 men, sometimes 21. Branch Rickey said it was addition by subtraction. The less players we had, the less they could use.
Less is more, huh?
That's right. Our 23rd, 4th, 5th players were really bad.
I was going to say, no offense, but with that club, it probably didn't make any difference.
It surely didn't. And here's a pitch inside. 2-0. The entire infield in 1952, the first baseman, second baseman, shortstop, and third baseman made a combined total of $24,000 in salary. And it's 3-0.
That's meal money these days.
Keith Hernandez hit by a pitch ball with 2 men out in the 3rd, was aboard when Carter got his 2-run home run. So now McWilliams in danger of putting him on again in front of Carter. 3-1 the count. And he walked him. So once again, it's Carter up with Hernandez at first base. Carter with a home run to tie it in the 3rd inning. Now batting with the score tied at 2 and a runner at first base with 2 men out in the 5th. Carter with his home run extending his hitting streak to 8 straight games. 12 hits and 31 at bats. The breaking ball, a strike call. Carter's home run came on a full count pitch, a 3-2 pitch, curveball.
During that 8-game hitting streak, Gary with 2 home runs, 10 RBIs.
And he gets a fastball there, and McWilliams in front with a 2-strike count.
And in addition to the 10 runs that Carter has driven in during this 8-game hitting streak, he has scored 9. So that's 19 runs in 8 games he's accounted for.
2-strike pitch. Fastball, strike 3. So McWilliams challenges Carter with a fastball. Gets the call from home plate umpire Eric Gregg, and that'll do it. A walk and 1 left. The score at the end of 5. The Pirates 2 and the Mets 2. Now here's a word from Burger King. Top of the 6th inning, a 2-2 ball game. The Pirates coming up, and the hottest batter in the National League to lead off, Johnny Ray. Johnny 2 for 2 here tonight. Started his action leading the National League in hitting, batting at .455, so he has jumped that average. Ray singled in the first to drive in the first run, was safe in the third on an infield base hit, and was thrown out at the plate on a double by Sid Bream. So he's been involved in the scoring for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Pirates 2 runs on 6 hits, the Mets 2 runs on 4. And Rick Aguilera with a curveball, it's laced into center field, and Johnny Ray 3 for 3.
Johnny Ray has all the ingredients to be an outstanding average hitter. He has a short, compact swing. He does not strike out. He makes contact a lot. He runs well. He switch hits. Just aren't too many other elements you can put together to have a guy. And when you think of all those facets, you think of a guy like Willie McGee, who led the National League in hitting last year.
Johnny Ray acquired for Phil Garner, who is also doing well for Houston this year. Now the batter will be Sid Bream. Bream 1 for 2 tonight. Mets are tied at 2, and in the first game of the season, Leyland, the manager of the Pittsburgh Pirates, played a very conservative game against the Mets. He would bunt in this spot if he stays with that philosophy, but he doesn't. And Bream, ready to hit away, takes for ball 1.
I think one of the main differences was that Dwight Gooden was on the mound in that ball game for New York, and that changes a lot of people's thinking.
1-0 pitch to Bream is fouled back out of play. One thing about playing against Dwight Gooden, you don't beat him the ordinary way. You have to think of something different. If you do get an advantage of having a chance to score, you better take every chance you can. At least that's my opinion.
Sure, those chances come few and far between ordinarily.
1-1 the count. And a strike call off the inside corner. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Bream hitting in the cleanup spot for Pittsburgh. Ray, the runner at first base. Struck him out. So Rick Aguilera gets his 6th strikeout as he strikes out Sid Bream, the cleanup batter.
Watch this ball move down and away from Bream. He's right over the top of it.
So Bream back to the bench, and it brings up Mike Brown, who is 0 for 2. Brown was struck out in the first, grounded out in the 4th. Pirates have not attempted a stolen base or attempted a hit and run play. Brown, a good hit and run man, and the pitch is hit to deep left center field, a long way for Mitchell. It could be gone. It's going. It is gone. Goodbye. Mike Brown with a 2-run home run, and the Pirates take the lead 4-2.
They are beginning to love this fellow in Pittsburgh.
Catcher Tony Pena.
He is some kind of strong. He deposits this fastball in about the last row of the left center field bleachers. He rode that right on out of here for his 2nd home run of the year.
That is the 2nd home run for the Pirates in this ball game, their 12th this year. And it is the 4th home run given up by Aguilera in a total of 12 innings of work this year, and it brings up Tony Pena, who takes for ball 1. And ball 2.
This start by Aguilera marked somewhat by the same inconsistency that we saw in his opening start of '86 last Sunday in Philadelphia. He at times looked very, very sharp, and then at other times he seems to groove a pitch, and they hit it hard, and the Pirates have hit a lot of balls hard tonight.
And Pena goes after the off-speed pitch 2 balls, 1 strike. Pena has struck out and also has hit a soft liner that was caught by Hernandez for it out.
Brown, incidentally, now has a 7-game hitting streak going of his own with that 2-run home run.
Two and 1 the count. And the fastball popped up into shallow left center. Foster coming hard. Can't get to it. It drops in. Pena goes to second base and goes in safely. So a high pop-up that should have been handled, but no one there to catch it.
Well, this has to be Kevin Mitchell's ball. You see, Foster, he thought Mitchell was going to catch it. He saw too late that Mitch wasn't going to get there, and George had to turn it on. He couldn't get there either. But that ball had to be caught by the center fielder. That's Mitchell's ball all the way. Kevin playing too deep.
So now a runner at second base with 1 man out, and a conference at the mound. Mets have just gotten their bullpen up, so no one really ready to throw.
And that's one of the reasons for the conference at the mound.
Randy Neiman and Terry Leach throwing in the bullpen. Mel Stoudemire, the pitching coach, back to the bench. And Aguilera now has given up 9 hits as the Pirates lead by a score of 4-2, and they'll have Jim Morrison to bat here, and he had a home run back in the second. His second home run of the year.
Of the Pirates' 9 hits, 6 of them have been for extra bases, and you have to count that bloop double into center field. 2 home runs and 4 doubles.
Morrison with a home run also has grounded out. He was out on a hard smash through the middle that hit Aguilera's shoe and caromed off to first base where Hernandez made the play there. That's ball 1. Fastball grounded off to the left side. 1 ball, 1 strike. This is his 8th game. Curry. 3 for 4 in his major league debut on June 25th against the Expos, and there's a swinging strike. He was Pittsburgh's first-round selection, 7th in the nation in the June 1982 draft. Fastball hit on the ground. Santana to Hernandez, and that'll do it. But 2 runs in the inning on 3 hits. 1 man left on base, and a score at the end of 5.5 innings. Pittsburgh 4, the New York Mets 2. Now here's a word from Bud Light. Bottom half of the 6th inning, the Pirates leading by a score of 4-2, and for the Mets it'll be Darryl Strawberry to lead off. Pirates led 2-0 after 1.5. The Mets tied it in the bottom half of the 3rd, and a 2-run home run by Gary Carter. But the Pirates regained the lead on a 2-run home run by Mike Brown. And here in the bottom of the 6th, it'll be Darryl Strawberry, George Foster, and Ray Knight as the first 3 batters. Larry McWilliams, the pitcher. And Strawberry looks at the fastball. Darrell has struck out and grounded out in his 2 appearances tonight. Right back with a fastball. Strike 2. McWilliams threw 2 fastballs right by Gary Carter in the 5th inning to end the inning, picking up his last 2 strikes. Now he goes to the breaking ball and the count 1-2. McWilliams has struck out 5 while walking 2 and hitting 1 batter. So far has allowed only 4 hits. Pirates brought a 5-game winning streak into this game. And Strawberry has struck out. Got him with a curveball.
Well, needless to say, McWilliams has had Darrell's number tonight. This is the 2nd time he has struck him out with that sweeping breaking ball. And he, in both instances, set him up for it using the fastball earlier in the count.
And that'll bring up George Foster. Foster with a single to right in the 4th inning. 1 for 2 tonight.
George got a nice hand when he came up the first time with men on base in the 1st inning. But that didn't last very long as he grounded into a force play.
Came up in the 1st inning with the base was loaded. He's had 3 chances at Grand Slam home runs so far this year in just 6 games. There's a strike call. 1 ball, 1 strike. George with 12 Grand Slam home runs in his major league career. And off the hands, grounded to the second baseman. Bobbled by Johnny Ray, and Foster safe in the air.
And a rare error by Johnny Ray, who was a pretty good second baseman. He just took a little too much for granted. It looked like he might have taken his eye off the ball, and it came up on him and went off the heel of his glove.
So the Mets have the time run at the plate as Johnny Ray is charged with an error, and Ray Knight is the batter. Ray is 0 for 2 tonight. Ray with 2 home runs so far this year. Last year he had a total of 6. And the breaking ball over the outside part of the plate, a called strike. Ray started this ball game hitting .421, 8 hits and 19 times up.
And he has also driven in 5 runs in the first 5 games in which he has played.
Fastball misses. 1 ball, 1 strike. On deck batter for the Mets, Rafael Santana. And a strike call. Again, the fastball, 1-2. In the early part of the ball game, McWilliams threw an awful lot of slow breaking pitches. Now he has totally switched over to throwing a lot of fastball. His fastball is not a fast fastball. Doubt if he could get up to 85 miles an hour.
But after all those slow breaking balls, it looks a lot better than that right now to the hitters that have been up against him earlier in the ball game.
Good pitchers will do that. They reverse their strategy after you start looking for something else. This one grounded foul. So the count of Ray Knight, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Mets trailing by 2 with 1 man out. We're in the bottom half of the 6th inning. And the fastball hit up the middle. Good play by Khalifa, and they turn it into a double play. That will end the inning as Khalifa makes a nice stop. And it goes from Khalifa to Ray to Bream. So no runs, no hits, 1 error, and no one left. The score at the end of 6 as Tim McCarver comes back in. It is the Pirates 4 and the New York Mets 2. Now here's a word from R.C. Cola.
Well, the bottom of the 6th inning ended on a big league play turned in by shortstop Sam Khalifa. Ray Knight hitting this ball very sharply. Khalifa not only takes the base hit away, but gets the force to Johnny Ray, who turns the double play, and all of a sudden the inning is over. Just like that, when it looked like the Mets might have something going after the error by Ray allowed Foster to get on base. So it's still Pittsburgh 4 and New York 2 as we go to the top half of the 7th inning. Randy Neiman in to pitch, and in to call it, Tim McCarver.
All right, Steve, thank you very much. As you see, Randy 0-2 in 2 games. It's been a week since Randy pitched. He pitched opening day against the Cardinals last Monday and lost that game in the 13th inning. Actually came in the top of the 13th, did not retire a Cardinal batter, and he'll be working against Larry McWilliams. Larry sporting a 4-2 lead up to now. Pirates winners of 5 in a row, plus a half a point in yesterday's game. There's a strike, 0-1. Cubs and the Pirates played until darkness yesterday. 8-8 game after 13. That game to be completed August the 11th. 4-2. They have the lead, top of 7. Another bunt attempt, and it's 0-2 to Larry McWilliams. Larry 0 for 2 on the night.
Well, rather than give each team a point for a suspended tie game, they ought to just put lights in that ballpark.
You think so?
Well, I have mixed feelings about it, but on games in which it involves the Mets and I'm there, I sure would like to see those lights.
Yep. Certainly for suspended games, and you and I both like night games, but Ralph Kiner does not like night games, and there is no way that he wants to see lights go into Wrigley Field.
That's his last bastion.
Talk about a multi-purpose stadium in Chicago, but the Cubs don't want to use the same park as the White Sox. The Bears will, but the Cubs won't.
Well, I can see that point. Besides, they put a lot of money and effort into Comiskey Park and making it, playable again, and it's still pretty nice for the fans. Plus, it holds a lot more folks than Wrigley.
Oldest park in baseball, Comiskey Park in Chicago.
But I think they ought to either put lights in or get a new park for the Cubs.
2-2 to Larry McWilliams. Lights or no lights, game wouldn't have been played today. Postponed. St. Louis at Chicago. Fastball misses. 3-2 to Larry McWilliams. Him out. Fastball on the corner. Oh, Randy Neiman comes back to get Larry McWilliams, and the top of the order, R.J. Reynolds, the batter.
Well, I know what Carter and Neiman are thinking. They're thinking, if this ball's a strike, why wasn't the one before this one a strike? Because they look very similar.
Reynolds, a good night. 2 doubles, a run scored. Continues his hot hitting. Entered the game batting .351. And there's a strike. Pirates with 1 in the first, 1 in the second, 2 in the sixth. And the Mets, with Gary Carter's 2-run homer, scored 2 in the third. Grounded up the middle. Nice play, Neiman. And a bad throw, but Hernandez is on the bag. Little snow cone off of the tip of the glove of Randy Neiman.
Well, there you see that Cardinal at Chicago game postponed by snow in the Windy City. In the bottom of the 6th inning, Atlanta is pounding Houston 7-0, and later on the West Coast, the left coast, L.A. at San Francisco.
Interesting thing about that Houston game, the Astros 8-3, leaders in the National League West. Nolan Ryan still in the game after giving up 7 runs. Here's Joe Orsulak with 2 out, nobody on. Grounds to second. Tim Teufel over to Hernandez, and a good inning, good strong inning for Randy Neiman as the Pirates go in order. But after 6.5, it's 4-2 Pittsburgh. We'll be back after this word from Bud Light.
Well, as you Mets fans know, the 1986 season marks the silver anniversary of the Mets franchise. And to commemorate this landmark anniversary, the Mets have put together a sleek 25th anniversary book And here it is, entitled The New York Mets, the First Quarter Century. This is the official 25th anniversary book of the Mets, and it says so right on the silver cover. The book is a hardbound volume of the Mets history, told in color, candid, action-packed photographs, and engaging essay, compiled and written by noted baseball historian Donald Honig. So to get your copy of the Mets official 25th anniversary book, just send a check or money order made payable to the New York Mets for $17.95 plus $3 for shipping and handling, a total of $20.95 to Promotion Graphics, Department L, 160 Varick Street, New York, New York, 10013, and get your 25th anniversary book of the Mets.
On the American League scoreboard, the Yankees and Royals, that's Eddie Lee Whitson's start. Controversially starting on the road, the top of the fourth, 2-2. 5-4, the Tigers over the the Red Sox. Colors mixed up there. 6-3, Rangers over the Blue Jays in the seventh. 3-0, Cleveland over Baltimore. And the California Angels hosting the Oakland A's later on. Joaquin Andujar going in that game. And Minnesota will be at Seattle. Seattle Mariners putting some runs on the board in their ballpark. They got some guys who can thump.
Well, they do.
Santana, the batter, here in the bottom of the second. The Mets need some thump. They're going to overcome a 4-2 deficit. Rafi 0 for 2. And he takes ball one. Santana has struck out twice, and as you mentioned earlier, having a tough start. Barry Lyons will be the pinch hitter for Larry McWilliams.
Now Rafi now 1 for 22.
Only 3 for 32 on the season. And the curveball is lifted to left. R.J. Reynolds over. And there's one away. So Barry Lyons will be the pinch hitter for Randy Neiman. Barry 0 for 3 on the season. And his first pinch hitting appearance of the year. And we're going to have a change. Barry Lyons is going to hit it. Santana was on for the long ball. But Davy Johnson has gone to Wally Backman.
And as you see, Wally hitting .353 as the Mets offensively have gotten off to a great start. New York leading the National League in hitting as a team at .270 so far this year.
Wally 0 for 4 is a right-handed hitter. Lyons, that's one to left. There's his first base hit of the year, right-handed. So Backman delivers. 5th hit for the Mets. And the batter will be Kevin Mitchell.
Now, Wally wants to play every day, and he knows that he must improve his right-handed hitting in order to be able to do that. So he just made a point with Davy Johnson, I'm sure, by that line drive single to left field.
The right-hander Ray Krosick, I should say Kroisick, is up and throwing for the Pirates. Bottom of the 7th. Mets trying to get something going. Ground ball, nice play, McWilliams, and Johnny Ray on the short hop dropped it, picked it up for the force out. 2 away.
Well, there won't be an error charged on the play because you cannot presuppose the double play, but really this is an error. McWilliams needed to just fire that ball chest high, and Ray would have been able to turn it. But because he gave him a bad throw in the dirt, the Pirates were able only to pick up 1 out.
Well, you see that also before the play, you'll see the pitcher look around at the shortstop, and the shortstop will say who's covering on the play. And it looked like McWilliams was indecisive as to who was going to cover.
Well, they both were right at the bag.
That's
and
right.
You saw Johnny Ray go me, trying to tell McWilliams it was me. It was I.
It was I. I don't think ball players in the heat of battle care who it was or about their English or syntax.
Or grammar either.
Right. 2-0 to Tim Tuffle. Tim 1 for 3 on the night. He singled in the first. Ripped to left. This is going to be a fair ball. The ball caroms back to R.J. Reynolds, but the Mets have runners at second and third and 2 out, and the batter Keith Hernandez. A double for Tuffle. His second double of the year.
And Pittsburgh got a break because Tuffle's ball hit the base of the wall and came off very sharply right back to R.J. Reynolds. Had this ball not caromed so cleanly off the wall, Mitchell might have had a chance to score. But you see the hop come right to R.J. Reynolds, who was able to hold Mitchell at third base.
And Ron Schuler, the pitching coach of the Pirates, is out to talk to Larry McWilliams as Cecilio Guante has joined Kroisik in the bullpen. Tell you, if a double play ball is a pitcher's best friend, and I guess it can be said in this inning so far that a fielder's choice is his worst enemy.
Well, when McWilliams made a fine play on the ball that Mitchell hit, it was sharply hit. But his inability and indecisiveness, really, in going to second base caused him to throw the ball in the dirt, and the Pirates unable to turn two. And now Mitchell is at third and Tuffle's at second.
Think long, you think wrong. And McWilliams found that out. He's in trouble here. Hernandez with a chance to tie this game up. It's 4-2 Pittsburgh. Bottom of 7, 2 out. Tuffle at second. Mitchell at third. Fastball is low. 1-0. Gary Carter on deck. Gary with a 2-run homer earlier in the game. And now Tony Pena out to talk to Larry McWilliams. They're having some sign problems. Keith hitless in the game. He lined out to short, was hit by a pitch in the third, and walked in the fifth. Keith has waited long enough. Larry McWilliams, normally a fast worker. Mitchell at third, Tuffle at second, 2 out, bottom of 7. Breaking ball, grounded toward second. Ray backs up and throws out Hernandez. So the threat thwarted here in the 7th. And after 7, it's 4-2 Pittsburgh. We go to the 8th after this word from Burger King. Well, the new pitcher for the Mets, third pitcher of the night in relief of Randy Neiman, Terry Leach.
Terry making his first appearance of 1986. He was called up from Tidewater, of course, when Ed Lynch underwent arthroscopic knee surgery, and so now Terry getting his first shot of the 86 season in relief. Well, the fun is right here on Channel 9. Of course, it's here every Mets baseball game, but it's also here weeknights at 7 with Dick Clark and special guest stars competing for big bucks in the $100,000 pyramid.
All right, Steve, and to lead off the Pirate half of the 8th, Johnny Ray. Man, what a night he's had. What a season he's had so far. 3 for 3 on the night with an RBI and a run scored. 3 singles. Fastball is low. Johnny from Choteau, Oklahoma. C-H-O-U-T-E-A-U. Choteau, Oklahoma. Attended the University of Arkansas, and he takes a strike on the corner, 1-1.
Choteau is a very small town in Oklahoma, but there's another fine athlete from there, and that is a linebacker in the NFL whose name is Rod. All of a sudden, I'm drawing a blank.
Rod Laver?
No. No. Gee whiz, isn't that terrible? I just thought of his name a minute ago. Now I forgot it.
Did he go to the University of Southern Cal?
No, he went to the University of Oklahoma.
Oh, all right.
Rod Choate.
Rod Schote. All right.
Rod Schote, great linebacker in college and has played in the NFL. Unusual that two professional athletes would come from such a small town as Choteau, Oklahoma.
Of course, another Oklahoman, Johnny Bench from Binger, Oklahoma.
That's not exactly a metropolis either.
Nope. Swing and a foul tip. So Johnny Ray continued to get a piece of it. He struck out only one time this year. And as we said earlier in the game, led the National League in strikeout frequency last year. Or strikeout infrequency, I guess. Now I'm on the right frequency. 1-2 to Johnny Ray.
Is that megahertz or kilohertz?
Ground ball to Tuffle. And the Mets finally get Johnny Ray out. One away, and the batter Sid Bream. Johnny Ray came to the Pittsburgh Pirates with Randy Neiman.
Pittsburgh first baseman.
Back in the Phil Garner trade after the '81 season. And he has produced. Sid Bream 1 for 3. Off to a sluggish start, but fastball outside. I guess you could say that the Pirates are hoping that Bream comes to the top.
The Bream always rises.
So does the sun. 1-0 to Sid Bream. 2-0 to Sid.
If he was built like I am, you could say he was broad-breamed.
Mm-hmm.
We have to stop this.
Not necessarily. Only if you want to. This one to center field, and there's Kevin Mitchell. And they're 2 away. Rick Aguilera started this game. He went 6 innings. Gave up 9 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 home runs. One by Jim Morrison, the other by Mike Brown. And here's Mike Brown.
Pirates right fielder, Mike Brown.
Mike's second home run of the year over the 396 sign, left center field, and he got all of it. Slider is outside. Mets trail 4-2. And it's 1-1. The Pirates last year won only 6 games out of their 18 games played in April, and they've already won 5 this April, as Ralph Kiner said in his opening remarks. A lot of good young players. Mike Brown, acquired from the California Angels last year. Fastball is inside. 2-1 to Mike.
Mick Kelleher, the first base coach for the Pirates, telling me before the game that the main reason that he feels they're winning is because they are hustling, and they have hustled themselves into a position to win ball games. Quite the opposite of what happened to them last year when they were constantly getting themselves in a position to lose ball games, and did.
They have been hustling around the bases on their homers too. They have 12 home runs now. And this their 8th game. Two out, nobody on. Top of the 8th inning. And the fastball on the 3-1 pitch walks Mike Brown, so he's on. And the batter will be Tony Pena, who's 1 for 3. He dunked a double in his last time up in the left center field. He has struck out and lined out hard to Hernandez.
That walk, the first walk issued by New York pitching tonight.
Aguilera struck out 6. He walked no one. And he held up. Fastball was inside. 1-0 to Tony Pena. Tony's double his last time up, his first extra base hit of the year. A couple of years ago, he had 15 home runs, most home runs by a Pirate player since Jim Pagliarone hit 17 back in 1965. Sliders low, 2-0. So Terry Leach having a tough time finding the plate here. Jim Pagliarone, of course, Pirate catcher, and a good one. Fastball outside. And it's 3-0. Steve Zabriskie writing me a note that I said player, and I did. Catchers are players. There you go, ripping catchers again.
But other Pirate players have hit more than 15 home runs in a year.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Oh, I say the most by a Pirate catcher. I got you. Okay. I thought you were taking another shot at catchers. You always take shots at catchers.
Never behind your back.
That's what I like. No. If you're going to rip somebody, rip them behind their back, never to their face. Pena walks on 4 straight pitches, and Terry Leach, as after retiring 2, has walked 2.
The third baseman.
And the batter will be Jim Morrison. Kind of tough to do in this business. Well, Carter out to talk to Terry, going over the signs with a runner at second. Words of wisdom.
And I'm sure encouragement.
Jim Morrison, his second home run back in the second inning. Runners at first and second. Pirates trying to extend their lead. And Morrison rips one foul, so it's 0-1 to Jim. 4-2 ball game, top of the 8th inning. Tim McCarver along with Steve Zabriskie and Ralph Kiner. And a reminder that Kiner's Corner is on, as always, following our game tonight. Ralph will have the wrap-up of the 2 games in progress in the National League, including a star of the game or stars of the game from this ball game, and of course scores from the American League. 0-1 to Jim Morrison.
Houston, incidentally, has scored 2 runs at Atlanta. Atlanta still leads at 7-2. It's in the bottom of the 7th. Ralph will have the final for you probably.
And he had an idea about swinging. He took it, and it caught the corner. 0-2, Morrison in the hole. Mike Brown at second. Tony Pena at first. Slider got him. So Morrison down on strike. First strikeout for Terry Leach, but the Mets have a mild knoll to climb as they trail 4-2 after 7.5, and we'll be back after this word from Metropolitan Life. Fans, make sure to tune in Thursday night at 8:30 when the Mets go west and south to take on the St. Louis Cardinals just after News 9 primetime at 8 o'clock. And for the Pirates, Bill Almond enters the game. He'll bat 9th in Larry McWilliams' place. And Cecilio Guante, there's his record. Not only has he not given up an earned run or any run of any kind, opposing hitters are 4 for 30 off of him. And a guy who did much better than that with the bat, Steve Zabriskie.
Not much. At times, maybe. Gary Carter to lead it off. Bottom of the 8th inning, 4-2 Pittsburgh. Carter, of course, with the big blow that temporarily tied the game in the 3rd inning, a 2-run home run, his 2nd of the year. He is 1 for 2, he has walked and struck out. And Guante right in there with a fastball at the knees for strike 1.
I'll tell you, I like this move. If the manager of the Pirates, Jim Leyland, is going to put a short man in, I think it's good to put him in to stay out of trouble instead of get out of trouble.
Carter really pounded one off his foot.
Speaking of trouble.
And he will take a moment to recover. That one might have caught him right on the ankle.
Steve Garland, the trainer, out. Those are always painful, balls like that. They're rarely serious. However, when you are a catcher and you take balls like that behind the plate, as a matter of course, you don't need this. Ouch.
Oh. You could really tell the impact by how quickly the ball rebounded off of his ankle. It must have caught bone.
Not a lot of muscle in people's ankles.
That's a good
you have
point.
A funny shape.
Unless you got real bad legs. While Gary gets it together, we'll tell you the line on McWilliams. He pitched 7, gave up 2 runs, both earned, 6 hits, struck out 6, walked 2, allowed a home run, and hit a batter. So the count 0-2 to Carter, and he's going to step out again.
Of course, I guess the back of the ankle muscle, the Achilles tendon.
Right. 1-2.
Point I was trying to make about Guante, though, Steve, was, you know, I think it's good policy for short men. If you're going to go to a short man, let him start the inning, and then, you know, he's loose when he comes in rather than coming in with runners on base, and some managers disagree with that. My policy that if he starts it off, you're a lot better off. And we were almost not a lot better off as that ball goes right into our booth.
Andreas, our high home cameraman, ducking away. That is a souvenir to the crowd from Tim McCarver.
That might be as far as I can throw a ball now. I underhanded it back to the folks downstairs.
Don't you start ripping your arm now.
I'm not ripping it.
Oh. Check swing roller. Ray gets him. Guante made an effort for it. It was out of his reach, but Johnny Ray picks up the assist, and there's one out here in the 8th. There's Darryl Strawberry, who I'm sure is glad to see a right-hander in there, as McWilliams gave him all he needed. Darryl has struck out twice and grounded out.
In the last 7 games, the Mets have faced 6 left-handers, primarily to counter the strength of Strawberry and Hernandez in the Mets lineup.
Low and inside for ball 1. Pat Clements throwing in the Pirate bullpen. Fouled out of play, and it's now 1-1. Darryl entered the game hitting .241. Has yet to hit a home run. 1-2. Still 1-2. Guante, a real departure from McWilliams.
Got that hesitation pitch and a very slow, deliberate delivery.
But the breaking ball gets Strawberry, who has struck out 3 times tonight. First strikeout for Cecilio Guante.
A ball out of the strike zone, that dying slider right there. And Darryl, over anxious, has struck out 3 times tonight and is 0 for 4.
George Foster is 1 for 3. George singled to right in the 4th inning. He's also grounded into an inning-ending force play and reached on an error. Ball 1. Ball 2. 2 out and nobody on. Bottom of the 8th inning with Pittsburgh leading 4-2. Fouled back out of play, and the count now 2 balls, 1 strike. 2-2. That was a good heater on the inside part of the plate. This guy is tough duty.
He's a good pitcher.
Just outside. Guante grimacing in frustration, but the count is 3-2.
Shook off a fastball inside and just misses outside. That ball was outside.
Ball 4. So the Mets will bring the tying run to the plate with 2 out here in the 8th. And Ray Knight, the batter. Ray has hit the ball hard all 3 times up, but he is 0 for 3. McWilliams retired him on a fine play in the 2nd. He flied deep to right and grounded into a double play in the 6th. Ball high.
Gene Lamont, who is one of the coaches of the Pirates, reminding the infielders to remind the outfielders to throw the ball to second base. And they didn't know what he was telling. They thought he was moving them around, and no infielders told the outfielders. Now, there's Gene Lamont, number 32 right there.
He's a third base coach.
Uh-huh.
And in charge of defensive alignment.
He said I couldn't get their attention. Look, you know, Jim, I couldn't get their attention. They started moving around. It reminds me of a story of Harry Walker one time with the towel. I'll try to fit it in either this inning or the next inning.
1 ball to count to Ray Knight. Ball 2.
Harry Walker was in the third base dugout. He was trying to move Walt Morin, and he was right in line with Julio and Javier. As we see Jim Leyland go out to talk, gives me a chance to finish the story. And Javier didn't know that the towel was meant for Morin, so he moved. And then Morin saw Walker, and he moved the other way. Harry had everybody moving around, none of them the right way, and just to get back to start at the original position was a chore, believe me. Sometimes you try to get guys' attention by miming what you want them to do, and it's tough. And that's what Gene Lamont was going through down the dugout.
Sammy Khalifa moved to about 4 different positions and couldn't satisfy Gene because he didn't know what he wanted.
And he wasn't the right guy to move, and nobody was supposed to move, as a matter of fact. Check this out.
Sugar Bear having a bad night defensively for the Baltimore Orioles in Cleveland.
Well hit and deep to left. This ball game is tied. Home run, Ray Knight.
Red-hot Ray Knight with his 3rd home run in 6 games.
Ray Knight, the subject of scorn with Mets fans last year when he hit .218. He only had 6 home runs, and he's got 3 in 8 games this year. Actually, 6 games. This ball, he got all of this one. I mean, all of it. A 2-0 fastball ties it up. I think Ray got around the bases about as fast as he could go. I mean, he scooted. There wasn't a home run trot there.
He looked like he hit a triple.
Yeah.
Rafael Santana fouls it back, and the count to Raffy now 1-1. Ray Knight with a 2-out, 2-run home run to tie it.
I think this game's not a game of inches. Guante wanted that 2-2 pitch to Foster and didn't get it. About 2 inches outside.
Lined but foul down the right field line.
Then he eventually walked Foster on the 3-2 pitch, and then Knight pumps one over the... Man, I'm telling you, he pumped it, too. Tim Corcoran on deck.
That ball was high and deep, reminiscent of our colleague Ralph Kiner. Sort of a half-swing ground ball to short. Khalifa sucks it up and throws him out. But the Mets have tied it here in the bottom of the 8th inning on Ray Knight's 2-run, 2-out home run. 4-4, and we'll go to the 9th after this for Manufacturers Hanover. As we go to the 9th inning, now tied 4-4, Len Dykstra comes into the game to play center field, and Kevin Mitchell, the center fielder, moves to third base. The reason for that is that Roger McDowell is the new pitcher. He will bat in Ray Knight's spot in the batting order, and Dykstra will bat 9th, which means he will lead off the 9th.
There's Roger's 5th appearance of the year. 5 1/3 innings, giving up 6 hits and 2 earned runs. Roger McDowell with 17 saves last year. And Davy Johnson's properly gone to the whip here with his ace relievers. He's got Orozco down there, well rested. McDowell's well rested. Out of the depths of despair, both home runs tonight came, if you remember, as Lee Mazzilli's going to be the pinch hitter for Sammy Khalifa, but both home runs came after 2 out and nobody on, 2 2-run homers. Hernandez was hit by a pitch, and then Carter popped one in the 3rd. And now after Foster walks in the 8th, Ray Knight with his 3rd home run. Unusual.
And boy, that shows you what a great game it is, because one pitch makes the difference in both instances between no runs and 4 runs. Lee Mazzilli hitting 167. No homers and an RBI. He is 0 for 5 as a pinch hitter. And he takes the sinker low for McDowell for ball 1. Maz has expressed his displeasure at being in Pittsburgh. He did so last season and has continued this year to request a trade. Ball 2. Mazzilli batting for Khalifa. Bill Allman scheduled to hit next, and then R.J. Reynolds.
He won't swing at a ball. He had 15 pinch walks last year.
Ball 3 is in the dirt.
He makes you throw strikes. His on-base percentage as a pinch hitter last year was .437. He had 16 hits and 15 walks. He is a good pinch hitter.
(3-0). And ball 4. So the go-ahead run on base to open the 9th inning for Pittsburgh as McDowell walks the first hitter he faces on 4 pitches, and that draws a little conference. And here's Bill Allman batting for the first time, hitting .286 with a homer and 3 RBI. Leach incidentally pitched 1 inning, gave up no hits, struck out 1 and walked 2. And McDowell now the 4th New York pitcher tonight.
I would imagine Jim Leyland will have Bill Allman bunting at least until he's ahead in the count, if he gets ahead in the count, because you got Roger McDowell with that sinker, and he gets a lot of ground balls with it. So I would imagine he'll be bunting.
The Mets are looking for the bunt, and Allman squares, and it's a good one. Oh, McDowell with a fine play to get the out at first base. The ball almost got by him, and the Mets would have had no play had that happened.
Well, you know why something like this happens. Hernandez covers so much ground toward the first base side. Most of the Met pitchers train themselves to go toward third in a bunt situation, and Roger almost went too far toward third on that one, but recovered to make a fine play.
The bottom line is the sacrifice by Allman is successful, 1-4, moving Mazzilli down to second for R.J. Reynolds, who is 2 for 4 with 2 doubles and a run scored. One out. Mazzilli the go-ahead run at second. And a ball to Reynolds. Grounded up the middle. Tuffle behind the bag will have to hurry, and just does get R.J. Reynolds at first. Mazzilli advancing to third, now with 2 away.
On artificial surface, this is probably a base hit up the middle, but the one thing second baseman can't stop and plant on the rug, but they can on natural turf. Watch Tuffle now. Watch him plant the foot. That allows him to get something on the throw, and he made a strong throw and a good play.
If that had been an artificial surface, he'd have been dancing about 5 more steps trying to get stopped.
Might be 5-4 Pirates if they were playing at home. Of course, they're not at home, are they?
And they wouldn't be batting now because it's the top of the inning. Joe Orsulak with Mazzilli at third. The squeeze is on. Carter goes out to get the ball. Nobody at home and no play at first. Mazzilli did not break down the line until the bunt was down. And a fine bunt by Joe Orsulak drives in the run, and Orsulak gets a base hit on the play.
Yeah, he's bunting for a base hit here with Kevin Mitchell back, and it's a blueprint. And Orsulak with a bunt base hit here in the 9th inning gives the Pirates the lead. It takes everybody by surprise. I mean, nobody's going to feel that even if you're looking for it. Throw way late at first base, and you just got to give Orsulak credit for getting down a blueprint.
Boy, it was perfect. I mean, you can walk out there and drop it down in a better position. Right between everybody. Johnny Ray with Orsulak running. And the throw backed up by Tuffle as the first attempted stolen base tonight is successful.
I have always contended that this is interference by a batter when a batter puts the bat across the plane of the plate with no intention to make contact. That's what Johnny Ray did. That is the most serious impediment if you're a catcher when a guy does that, because obviously he's not bunting. There's no sacrifice. There's 2 outs. The only reason that he did that, in my opinion, in the umpire's judgment, if a hitter does that intentionally, he ought to be called out, because his only intent on the play is to keep the catcher from coming out. And this is what we're talking about. Now watch him. He just holds that bat up there. He brings the bat back, and his intent on the play is to keep Carter back there. It's a good play, and they'll never call it. But in my opinion, if in the umpire's judgment it's called interference, then the batter ought to be called out. Of course, I'm speaking from a catcher's position, but I think that's intentional interference.
Well, that was more flagrant than normal, too.
That's
because
right.
He
You
kept
saw him
the back way back.
Brought the bat back to keep the catcher back there. It's a good play, and they're never going to call it, but I think the rule ought to be changed.
I agree with you, especially on something like that. So the stolen base puts Orsulak at second base with 2 out. It is 5-4 Pirates, and Johnny Ray fouls another one off, and the count's still 1-2. Ray tonight is 3 for 4. 3 singles in his first 3 trips. He's driven in a run and scored a run. And a rare strikeout of Johnny Ray as Roger McDowell allows 1 run on the bunt base hit by Orsulak. We'll go to the bottom of the 9th with the Pirates having retaken the lead at 5-4 after this word from Sprint. 9th, Rafael Belliard comes in to play shortstop, and the new pitcher is Pat Clements, who is making his 5th appearance of the young season, having pitched his 3 2/3 innings, a record of 0-0 and no saves, an ERA of 2.45. Clements will be facing Len Dykstra, batting for the first time. Kevin Mitchell and Tim Tuffle to follow. 5-4 Pirates, bottom of the 9th. And Dykstra went down, and Eric Gregg called it a strike.
Well, I guess he thought he bunted at the ball. We'll see. Oh, he didn't bunt at that ball. But Eric, I guess, called it on the pitch. Eric called it on the pitch. It did look like it had the corner, but it looked a little high. Thought initially he called it on the bunt play.
Now it's strike 2. Dykstra working on a 6-game hitting streak. He has hit .345 over those 6 games. His career high is 7. check swing foul, and the count holds at 0-2. Lenny has been on base in all 7 games in which he has played. And he is 4 for 4 in his stolen base attempts. He's off to a good start. One ball, 2 strikes. The Pirates scored single runs in the first and second. The Mets tied it in the bottom of the third. The Pirates scored 2 in the sixth, and the Mets tied it in the bottom of the eighth. But the Pirates went ahead in the top of the ninth. Line drive, base hit, right field. Len Dykstra has now hit in 7 consecutive games, and he leads off the bottom of the ninth with a single.
And Len Dykstra has 1 major league home run and didn't hit a lot. Look where Mike Brown's playing. Playing very deep to prevent a double, but you got to understand that Dykstra's got good speed and chance of him stealing a base here. I think Mike was playing too deep to start with right then.
And that ball did fall in. So Kevin Mitchell, who is 1 for 4, as Dykstra draws a throw. Batting against the left-hander, Pat Clemens. Mitchell squaring but taking high. Ball 1.
We'll see if Davy Johnson puts a hit and run on. If you do bunt the runner over in this situation, Jim Leyland of the Pirates has right-hander Jim Wynn warming up down there. And remember, Wally Backman's out of the game. So Tuffle will have to hit for himself unless Davy goes to Howard Johnson. And then if the Mets tie it up, then Howard will be the second baseman. There's Jim.
The interesting statistic, though, is that last year in the American League, Tuffle had a better batting average right-handed than he did left-handed.
Excellent point.
I mean, against right-handers as opposed to left-handers.
Yep.
And again, a throw to first to keep Dykstra close. Nobody out. Mitchell bunts it foul. 1-1.
Kevin squared around a little bit too early. You don't want to commit yourself too early, because if you commit yourself, then you have the infielders charging, especially the third baseman.
And Allman that time was way in. 1-1.
Too early again.
Yep. Bill Allman, you see, halfway home.
See, that's what a pitcher will do. He'll step off. That's a good play by Clemens. You step off just to see if a young hitter like Kevin Mitchell will square around too early, and that's what he did. See, it's too early.
But it's a pretty good bunt. Bream will field it and go to first base with Ray covering. The sacrifice moves Dykstra into scoring position with 1 out.
Got an interesting situation right here. Keith Hernandez on deck. We'll see what Leyland's going to do. There you see Allman right there. That's because he squared around too early, but he bunted it perfectly towards Sid Bream, who had to hold the runner off. So Kevin may have squared around a little early, but he laid down a good bunt. This is a great game, isn't it?
I love it. He got the job done. And here's Tim Tuffle. Tuffle is 2 for 4 with a single and a double.
See, there's no thought of pitching around Tuffle right here to get to Hernandez, because not only does Tuffle represent the winning run, but you got Hernandez on deck. You know, you don't even try lefty to lefty when you're dealing with Hernandez. You don't want to bring the right-hander in because you got the same problem. Then you wouldn't want to walk Hernandez to pitch to Carter. Got all sorts of strategy going on. This is great.
Wheels are turning.
Man.
What to do, what to do.
I would imagine they're just going to go after Tuffle and try to get him out, and then pitch to Hernandez if Tim makes an out. And you can't argue with that strategy.
No, you can't really look too far ahead in an inning. You have to deal with the situation that it exists right now. A base hit for the Mets ties the game. 1 out, Dykstra at second, 5-4. Pirates, bottom of the ninth. And a good pitch from Clemens for strike one.
Well hit down the line and left. It's in there as a fair ball. Dykstra scores. The game is tied. Tuffle going to second. Tim Tuffle's third hit of the night ties it in the bottom of the ninth inning.
Man, we got a hero every minute tonight. And there's the newest one. And there's another one, Len Dykstra. This slider, pretty good pitch, and Tim Tuffle rifles it down the line for his second double in a row, and as you said, his third hit. What a ball game.
There are a lot of folks loving it here tonight. Keith Hernandez, the batter. Still only one out. Still a runner at second base, and now it is tied at 5. Ball one. Keith, as you see, 0 for 2, but he has scored a run after being hit by a pitch ahead of Carter's home run. Jim Leyland along with Bill Burden in the Pirate dugout. Too tight, and it's ball 2.
Now, if you're the manager of the Pirates, what you want is Clemens to get Keith Hernandez out so you can walk Carter to pitch to Darryl Strawberry. This one inning has a ton of strategy involved, doesn't it?
Managers really get paid for these kinds of innings.
Well, you know, the Mets went along with 4 hits through 7 innings, kind of lull you to sleep in these last 2 innings. I mean, they've been, well, they had five hits in the last inning in the third.
That's low, and it is 3-0. Boy, Hernandez is so disciplined in these situations where many other hitters, even veteran players, would be over-anxious. Carter on deck.
He might be swinging even though it's lefty against lefty. We'll see. He looks like he's ready to hack.
Ball 4. Hernandez run, remember, means very little, but now you don't want to walk Carter and load the bases because then you put the winning run at third.
Well, the whole point is Clemens isn't going to pitch to Carter. He's gone. It's out of here. Here comes Leyland now.
The strategy changed with that one at bat. It has changed every at bat here in the ninth inning.
We have had 3 double switches in the last inning. Jim Leyland last inning, this inning, and Davy Johnson to open the ninth. And here again, I think you got an example of that 24-man roster possibly cropping in, because both managers possibly faced with extra innings. Steve Kemp's going to go in. This is a great game here.
And you've got to play it with that extra inning possibility in the back of your mind while still, on the Pirates' point of view, trying to prevent the winning run from scoring.
Yep.
Well, while all this goes on, and Jim Wynn trots in, we'll let you take a breath. We'll be back to Shea after this word from Newsday. Steve Kemp has come into the game to play left field. Joe Orsulak is out of the game, and the previous left fielder, R.J. Reynolds, is now in center field. And the new pitcher is indeed Jim Wynn.
And he's working his 6th ball game, a 1.50 ERA, and you see the one save. He has retired 17 of the 20 batters he's faced for the Pirates so far this year.
Tim Tuffle at second base is the responsibility of Pat Clemens, as Wynn tries to send this game into extra innings.
Number 39, R.J. Reynolds.
Wynn coming on to face Gary Carter.
Gary Carter.
Clemens pitches only 1/3 of an inning. Charged so far with a run on 2 hits, did not strike out a batter, and walked 1. Gary Carter tonight 1 for 3, a 2-run home run that tied the game back in the 3rd inning. Gary's also walked, struck out, and grounded to second. That's high for ball 1. 5-5, 1 out, bottom of the 9th, the winning run for New York at second base.
Fastball line down the line. Fair ball. The Mets will win it as Tuffle scores. It's 6-5 New York.
Well, we talked about how this 9th inning was full of strategy. There's no strategy for the fastball down the middle with a guy like Gary Carter. Jim Leyland pulling all the strings in the 8th inning and the 9th inning, but coming up short as the Mets battle back. Something about this club. I'll tell you, the hitters were quiet for 7 innings, and they just exploded in the 8th and 9th innings. Those bats came alive.
Gary Carter with 3 RBIs on the night. And here's Gary's reaction. You think it was the playoffs or something?
Gotta love it. Here's that fastball after missing with the slider. A heater inside, but not for long. Game's history. Chalk it up.
Carter now with an 8-game hitting streak has driven in 11 runs in the last 8 ball games. And another hit here in the bottom of the 9th inning. The final is 6-5 New York in an outstanding ball game. Tim and I are going to be right back to wrap it up for you, so stay with us. And of course, as always, Ralph is standing by with another edition of Kiner's Corner. 6-5 New York in a thriller. We'll return to Shea after this word from Bud Light. 6-5 New York with some drama in the bottom of the 9th. And if you didn't like this ball game, you just flat don't like baseball, because this had all the elements. And as you said, Tim, a lot of heroes. Gary Carter capping that with his dramatic 9th inning RBI single. But there were a lot of heroes, and the Mets are playing very good baseball.
Tim Tuffle with 3 base hits, 2 doubles, and the game-tying hit. Lynn Dykstra led off the inning with a single. And I think it's interesting to note that 7 of the 8 runs, with the game going into the 9th inning, 7 of the 8 runs were counted for by home runs. And what put the Pirates ahead? A bunt base hit. So there was a lot of long ball played, a lot of short ball played tonight. And, of course, in the bottom of the 9th, Gary Carter with the game-winning RBI is 3rd of the year, and that's it right there.
Gary Carter has really put some emotion in this ball club. We saw it last year, and, of course, it started right off the bat in Gary's first game as a New York Met when he hit that dramatic 10th inning home run, opening day 85, to beat the Cardinals here at Shea. And I think his leadership ability on and off the field has made a big difference in this club. He certainly does it on the field.
I think so too, Steve. And I'll tell you, there are a lot of baseball players that are emotional, but not a lot of them as talented as Gary Carter. So the talent and the emotion kind of go hand in hand, and they certainly do with Gary Carter. But that's an excellent point. He is certainly a leader on the club. A good at-bat by Hernandez, very selective, as they say, as selective as a spoiled child's hearing, and that's what Keith Hernandez is in those situations.
I love that. And Ray Knight still red hot. Ray with a dramatic 2-run home run. He hit it a ton as he continues to be red hot. So things bode well for the Mets. Rick Aguilera had an up-and-down outing, but the Mets offense able to come back and pick him up. And actually, Roger McDowell picks up the win in relief tonight. And tomorrow night, we're back here with you as we take on those Pirates once again here on WOR, the Mets and Pittsburgh.
And, of course, if tomorrow night's any indication of what happened tonight, it will be some kind of ball game. Very emotional, and The Mets with 4 wins in a row, and this broke a 5-game winning streak for the Pirates. And there's Jim Leyland, who, to his credit, you don't get much reaction right there, but to his credit, I thought he managed a good ball game. Sometimes it's just not in the cards.
Well,
the Pirates.
You did an excellent job, Timmy, of outlining all the possibilities that existed there in the bottom of the 9th inning. And Leyland made really every move he could make. And again, the 24-man roster came into play, because that has to be in the back of every manager's mind when a game gets into the late innings and it's close.
Yeah, because as you said, if you start planning for extra innings, and it was an extra inning game when he made the third double switch in an inning. Davey made 2 and Leyland made Davey made 1, Leyland made 2. It was just a fantastic ball game all the way around.
Outstanding. Here again, the line score for the victorious Mets: 6 runs on 10 hits and no errors. The Pirates 5 runs on 10 hits and 1 error. The winner in relief, Roger McDowell, he is 1-0. The loser in relief, Pat Clements, is 0-1 on the year. And we'll see you back here tomorrow night. Tim?
I can't wait. Mets baseball has been brought to you by Bud Light, the light beer with the first name and taste. Everything else, after all, is just a light. By Nissan, who invites you to test drive the all-new 1987 Nissan Sentra at your Nissan dealer now. By Manufacturers Hanover Trust, we realize your potential. By Burger King, their new chicken tenders are real chicken fillets, not processed nuggets. And by your tri-state Lincoln Mercury Mercer dealers. Also by Ivory. There's a pure and natural kind of clean when you're lather up with Ivory. And let's not forget our folks at RC Cola, people who go out of their way for the taste of RC. Fans, be with us again tomorrow night when the Mets take on the Pittsburgh Pirates. 7:35 game time right here on WOR. Now stay tuned for Kiner's Corner. For our special guests, Tim Tuffle and Gary Carter. Promotional consideration was provided by the True Value Hardware Stores and Home Centers. Watch your favorite team anywhere you go with this Casio LCD pocket television. Clear black and white reception. Compliments of True Value Hardware Stores and Home Centers. And by Wayne Scott. You never get a second shot at a first impression. Impress the first time with Wayne Scott shirts, knits, sweaters, and outerwear for young men. Available at stores everywhere. That's Wayne Scott. The executive producer of Mets Baseball 86 is Rick Miner. Produced and directed by Bill Webb. Associate directors Jeff Mitchell, Steve Oldbaum, and Tom Schaffery. Technical Operations Manager Artie Gress. Technical Director Robert Goodman. Our stat man, as always, with the numbers, Arthur Friedman. Mets Baseball 86 is a production of Channel 9 Sports, and the production facilities arranged through Vanda Communications. The announcers on the preceding telecast were approved and contracted for by Doubleday Sports Incorporated. See you tomorrow night, folks.